It's your boy Bo Skaggs. Uh, we
Diddy has received Federico.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Here's the thing about how I feel about Diddy, right? Um, I honestly, I don't want to believe that Diddy.
I think we're past that.
I mean, I still don't want to believe it.
We could be there on Jay Z, but we can't say I don't want to believe it on Diddy. I mean, it's just it is what it is. Too much evidence.
All right.
Too much evidence. Too much testimony. Too many accusers all saying the same stuff. Hundreds of them, to be exact. Over 200. Think about that.
All right.
Listen. As much as I, okay, as much as Diddy disgusts me and always has for a lot of reasons, not his music. In spite of the things I know about him personally that I don't like, right? I didn't want it to be true either, because he wrote the soundtrack of our formative years in New York City.
Right.
And I love that he is a local person. I love that he's from uptown and you could see him out. Everybody knows him and you know what I'm saying? Like I love that. Like that, he was such an inspiration to so many people.
Right. I mean, I wanted to be on Bad Boy Records when I first started rapping. I mean, I used to tell Jay, like, Jay, I either want to be signed to Bad Boy or I want to be on Def Jam.
Right.
So Diddy was definitely.
He put you on neither.
I was signed to neither one of those record labels, but.
Well, who were you signed to?
Virgin. I was signed to Virgin Records.
Right.
But I mean, all right. Well, okay. Look, if we're gonna, I don't want to say that he did it without him being convicted. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
It's kind of like jumping the gun, saying like.
Well, you don't need to say he's been convicted. You don't need to say he did it.
Right. I don't want to say he did.
But you're not in a court of law. You're not a judge. You're not a jury, and you're not an attorney.
I mean,
this is just in your personal opinion. Do you think he's done some vile things?
I believe that Diddy has done some questionable things. I mean, I've seen the interview with like Day 26, and those boys look like they're really, like they really traumatized, like they
still to this day.
Yeah. I mean, I've even seen like I know like Freddie P, and I know Chop. I know some of the guys from making the band. I did songs with a couple of the guys from Day 26, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be able to just tell that something happened to them. You know what I mean? Like but I don't think Diddy is not capable of doing those things that he said. But
I mean, the latest. What about the latest? Necrophilia.
Like
having sex with dead bodies. I mean, it makes sense if you worship the devil. If you worship the devil, those things go hand in hand. Necrophilia, pedophilia, drugs, child sacrifice, cannibalism, all these things. And remember, Lil Rod said it in his case. He said that Diddy told him he was going to eat his face if he didn't do something. He was going to eat his face.
I don't want to speak on Lil Rod. You know what I mean?
Listen.
I don't want to speak on Lil Rod.
What's done in the dark will always be brought to the light. God said so.
Yeah. I mean, but, with all the things that came out in the news and all the stuff about Diddy, I mean, he's in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? And
although now that Busby is barred from trying cases in New York, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen now. Now they're saying, I mean, I'm not up on what happened today. So I really wanted to tap in, but I didn't have time. But, they're saying there's a chance Diddy could get off.
It's because they tried to pull up on Jay-Z. And
right. And Jay-Z had a lot of money, and you know what the Bible says, money answereth all things.
And Jay-Z didn't have, Jay-Z...
Knock it off. Knock it off. Stop. Just stop.
Look,
we know how you feel about Jay. I feel the same way. Honestly, I didn't want to see that. Diddy, I believe everything. I believed it from day one because I already had insider information on Diddy. I already knew about Diddy. And Diddy is a vile person. He's always been a very Machiavellian, selfish, mean-spirited, dishonest, greedy, grimy dirtball. Okay?
Right. Well,
facts. All facts. But Jay, I didn't want to believe it either because Jay is cool. Jay is so cool. First of all, he's the best rapper alive. Quite arguably.
I agree. I agree.
I mean, I know he's your favorite. He's definitely one of my favorites.
I agree. But
and he's so talented. So it hurts you to accept that. You don't want to believe that. But honestly, birds of a feather flock together. He was always with Diddy. Period. I don't care what he says. They weren't friends. We know the truth. I was at Diddy's 40th at the Plaza, and he rolled in. It was like a big fanfare when Jay got there, and they're like hugging each other, and they hung out together all night long.
I don't care what no one says.
It was clear to me that these guys were real friends in real life.
Okay. All right. They was real friends in real life, but honestly, I don't care what anyone says. You cannot make me believe that Jay-Z was on the same time as Diddy. I will not believe it. I will not.
All right, no. I'll give you that because you know what? I don't believe he was on the same time as Diddy either. However, I do know that what's her name, Abramovich, is his good friend, and they did a spirit cooking ceremony together. Okay. And she is a straight up devil worshiper witch. Now, about it.
Now, what is spirit cooking? Explain that to me.
They like eat people, and they like do, they, worship the dead spirits, all the stuff that they do in witchcraft. That every faction does these type of things.
So
they just all call it different things.
So you believe that Jay-Z does witchcraft?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Without question. And we know Beyonce does. I mean, she's had cases filed against her in the court of law.
Well, before we get any further with this, I'd like to thank Beyonce for giving us this platform to do our. I just want to thank Beyonce for for letting us have this platform.
The queen bee. All hail the queen. Yes, yes.
And Beyonce, you should have this platform, but I just want to thank you for giving it to us. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
I really appreciate you.
Oh,
and this one is for the Beehive for sure. Sure.
Inside joke. If you don't know, that's an inside joke. But he's being facetious. But I mean, it's just funny. It's just funny to me because I mean, me and my girl used to always talk about. Well, okay. Forever and a day, the media would talk about Beyonce. She's fat. Oh, she looks frumpy. Oh, what is she wearing? Like in a real snide way. Because she was from Texas. She didn't have any style. She just looked stupid a lot of the time. And she was fat. She was a real pretty girl, but she was fat. She was a little overweight. She was, real tacky. Then all of a sudden she gets with Jay and boom, overnight, now she is the media sweetheart. Now she's the most beautiful woman alive. Now she's the best artist. She has the best voice in the world. Oh my gosh, she's such a talented. This was instantaneous. And me and Makita always used to talk about that. And it's true.
Well,
sorry, not sorry, Beyonce. I'm not scared.
Well, I think that Beyonce is the best singer in the world. And I just want to let that be known. I believe that Beyonce is hands down the best R&B singer to ever walk the face of the earth.
Oh, that's so funny. She came to our house before. I didn't meet her. When I lived in Harlem, we shot a Solange video. Tina was there, Solange. Solange is such a lovely girl. Such a nice person.
She didn't seem too lovely in that elevator with Jay-Z.
Well, I don't know about that because that's none of my business. But they said this because Jay-Z was sleeping with a man and he was going against the rules and stuff.
All right, look.
So I'm just saying, we already know about. Listen, Jazzo said that about Jay-Z. He's been saying that about him for a long time.
I'll say this about Jazzo. He's bitter.
He's definitely bitter, no doubt about it. I'm not going to say he isn't.
He's bitter.
But I believe he's telling the truth. Because he's been saying that.
All right.
And anyway, I believe that's true. Because they all do it. They're all doing it in the industry. They got to do it.
All right.
They got to do it.
All right, well.
Whether they want to or not. And then after a while, you start to like it. When you worship the devil, it goes hand in hand. Homosexuality, pedophilia, eating people, drinking blood. All those things go together.
All right. So with all the cases, and all the lawsuits that are being filed against Diddy, what is it, about 200 of them or something crazy like that?
I think it's over 200.
All right. How many of those do you really think?
Those are the real ones.
So you think over 200
there were many hundreds of phone calls. Some of them, they had more in the beginning, then they slowly but surely narrowed them down to the solid cases.
Now, how many of them are criminal?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So there might not be.
They might not all. It might, let's say if 5 of them are civil cases, they still have criminal activity, but they're filing civil cases.
All right. So there's really no criminal.
Every single one has criminality to it. Drugging someone is criminal.
Now let me ask
you know what I'm saying? Like, they all start with that. Every one of them. Every single one of them.
Did you hear anything anymore about the tapes?
Which tapes?
About the Diddy tapes. The tapes that all the footage he's supposed to film at his house. And I mean, I've heard things about it early on, but we've yet to see any of the tapes.
Right, because they're going to be in court.
I mean, we've seen him beat Cassie in the hallway of a hotel, but we have not seen an inkling of any of this.
We
haven't. The freak-off footage.
They're still talking about them. They still exist. They're still, it's
But how come they haven't leaked any of them yet? I mean, they always leak something like this.
Well, as a matter of fact, a couple weeks ago, Diddy was trying to say he wanted some of the tapes to be viewed because he says it would prove. What did he say? It would prove that he's innocent.
Well, it's one girl. It's one.
Maybe he's innocent on some of them.
All right, maybe the tapes that he's got, maybe the tapes that they got, he's not even on them.
Right, exactly.
Maybe they found the tapes that he's not even on.
Right. But if he was taping them at his house, that in itself is criminal. So,
all right, let me ask you this. All right, Diddy's baby's mother.
Which one? Sarah Chapman?
No, the other one.
The Asian one?
The one with the book out.
Oh, Kim Porter.
All right, Kim Porter. Did you get a chance to read the book? Have you heard the book? I heard the book with the audio.
Yes.
I heard the audio book.
Yes, I did. I did.
A lot of it. Well, they're trying to say that none of it's true, right? They're trying to say.
Well, who's trying to say?
Their
kids.
Well,
Albie Shore.
Albie Shore.
Well, no. Now Albie Shore is backed off. Now he says it's all true except for the part about him having sex with Diddy and being gay.
Right, but she said in the book that her, Albie Shore, and Diddy all had sex together.
Right, but he says that's not true.
Right.
He said everything else in the book is true, though, just not that part.
All right. Now, in the book, they referred to somebody as Rapper One.
Yeah, who do you think that is?
I don't want to put anybody's names out there, but I think that's Snoop Dogg. For some reason, because in there it was like, she said that he came out and he was like, "Hey, yo, cuz."
Right. You know he's West Coast.
So that make me think that it's
he's West Coast.
It's Snoop or a West Coast guy or a guy
Dre.
from a different region.
Could have been Dre.
That says cuz.
Right, someone from the South.
Or I mean, maybe even like they say cuz in a lot of different places.
Like where?
I mean, they use cuz down south. They use cuz like in Pittsburgh. They use cuz in Alabama. They use cuz in a lot of places.
So it could have been like Wiz Khalifa.
Could have been Wiz Khalifa.
Could have been.
Could have been Wiz Khalifa.
Could have been Snoop.
Could have been a Crip, a person who's in a gang in the Crips. They use cuz all the time.
I mean, I thought Busta, but he wouldn't say cuz.
All right. So why haven't we? All right. So they saying Busta is, a flamer.
Yeah.
Right. You don't think he's been at the Diddy parties freaking off with Diddy? Why haven't we heard his name in anything?
I've heard his name so many times.
And involved with the Diddy freak offs.
He was definitely at some of them, but I mean, just because you're not at the Diddy party doesn't mean that you aren't doing other things.
So
You could be committing your crimes elsewhere. I mean, but we know. I mean, we know Bus is gay now. Like,
yeah, I've seen
it's been out. Like, he's outed. It's too late now for him to come back from that.
I've seen the story with Busta. I think I forgot where I seen it at. It was like a kid said that, you know, Busta was in the club and he really wanted this one guy up there with him, and he really went really hard to get this guy in his VIP, and he got him in his VIP, made him sit down, and kept him through the whole night.
It was that bouncer that said it, right? He said he was working for a guy. He was working for this gay businessman.
Right, and he wanted, and Busta wanted the little lawyer white boy. I think it was like a little lawyer white boy.
And then he said he wanted some other kid too.
I mean, like when I look at Busta, like I've had the pleasure of meeting Busta a few times, hanging out with him. Him and Jay, he was like a big fan of Jay's, and Busta was cool. Like the times that I met Busta, I didn't really get that kind of like vibe from him. I mean, even when I met Diddy, like all the times that I've like been around Diddy, I didn't get those kind of vibes.
Well,
like,
I did.
Like from from Diddy.
I mean, not every time, but one time, he acted, sounded, walked, talked, and carried himself like a little girl.
I mean,
literally.
Like
one
night
little
in
girl.
particular, I was at like Justin's, and Jay had me like freestyling for everybody in like outside of Justin's. I mean, Diddy was there, Tretch from Naughty by Nature, a couple of other guys, Cannabis, a couple other rappers, and Diddy was there, and he didn't give me like I didn't see it. And
he probably didn't want Jay to see him in that light because he was a Jay fan.
And then we had,
and also let's not forget, when was this? The 90s.
This was the late 90s, maybe like 90,
well, he
97.
didn't want people to see him that way.
And then he did I think it was like a remix video to like one of the songs, maybe like All About the Benjamins or something. It was like a remix video that he did for All About the Benjamins. I think it was that, like a rock version or something, and Jay was DJing in the video, and we was all at the set, and Diddy I didn't get no fruitcake vibes from him. You know what I'm saying?
No, because he doesn't act like a fruitcake largely. But I will say, the first time I met him with his good friend, a person that shall be unnamed, who introduced us and said, Diddy, this is my girlfriend. We were at Central Park for their baseball game, or was it softball? I forget, one of those. It's their summer game that they do. Mrs. Combs was there, which I already met her before, and the guy, and me, and like one of his bodyguards, who, I mean, that's another story. He acted strange also, but this person introduced me to Puff and said, Puff, this is my girlfriend. And Puff put his hand out like he was as gay as a blade. Like the wrist, everything. And then like acted really shy and said, hi. Like he wouldn't look me in the eye. He like looked down at the ground, put his shoulder up like he was shy. I mean, it was absurd. It was absolutely absurd.
That's crazy.
I was shocked.
That's crazy.
Even though I knew he was gay, but I was shocked nonetheless.
Yeah,
because he doesn't carry himself that way.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's the light that I look at these guys in, because like I was a student of like hip hop for so long, and I still am, and I still watch, and I look at these artists, and it's disturbing to see somebody like Diddy, like a person that you like looked up to, and for their genius, not for like, just for their genius. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
it's not just his genius; it's his charisma, his style. I mean,
me personally, I didn't care too much about his style. I just was more, how he was able to like find Big and find Mace, and then
his charisma.
create these songs with them. And even though they rapped, but like Diddy did a lot far as the music. Even though he didn't rap on the songs and he barely produced any of them, but he was the orchestrator of all that music. You know what I'm saying? And that's a talent within itself to be able to put together, a project, and just to be able to just like find the producer and find the right beat. And they make all the beats, and then you like, this is the one. And just to have the ear to know what the people are gonna like. You know what I'm saying? Like to have that ear. But to see him in this light right here, like as a predator, is like,
I mean, a straight up predator, more than a predator. He is a psychopath. He's like someone that you see late night, with the reenactment of the the cold case files, frightening.
Well, I'll say this. They painting the picture of him as a psycho.
Painting. The facts are painting it, though. No one's painting a picture. No one's painting a picture. The facts in the files, in the court documents, the facts are painting the picture as of him being a psychopath. The people who do those things are psychopaths. If 200 strangers all said it, people who did not know each other, said they're saying the same types of stories.
Well, we don't know if those are facts.
We don't know if it's facts, but we don't need to. Use your intuition.
Well, we do need to
use your instinct. Use your gut instinct.
We do need to know if they're facts, though. We do need to know if they're facts. You know what I mean?
The facts are over 200 people have filed cases against him in a court of law, and they all say similar things.
Over 200 people could be looking for money. You know what I mean? Over 200 people could be looking for money.
Yes, but over 200 people don't have valid cases that got picked up by major attorneys. Over 200 people don't have cases that have been selected.
Who knows Busby? That's the lawyer named Busby, right? Busby's a loser. He's a failure.
That is not funny. And I do not appreciate you playing devil's advocate on this, because you know darn well.
All I'm saying.
You know it. So don't play devil's advocate. Do not. Let's not do word salads here. Let's not twist words and stories to play devil's advocate you know.
I'm not twisting words. I don't know anything.
You know, right? The statistical probability that this is not true is slim to none. Okay? So stop. Just stop.
But if there's a chance.
This is mathematics we're talking about. We're talking about statistics here.
Now, I'll say this. In order for somebody to be sent to jail, the lawyer has to prove without a reasonable doubt. If there is a reasonable doubt in any one of these stories, he's going home.
There won't be.
I mean, and that's the truth.
There won't be.
They have to prove their case without a reasonable doubt. Only way for Diddy to go to jail.
You want to know something?
They tried to get Jay-Z, and Busby failed.
And it's not over for Jay-Z. It's not over. Busby failed. There's other attorneys that could try that case. Guess what? Money answereth all things. But you know what else? What's done in the dark will be brought to the light. And 2025 is a year of revelation.
I agree.
And God has spoken.
God has spoken. Money answereth all things. Diddy has loads of it. He's
not too much anymore. He's lost like half of it already. He's spent so much money trying to get out of jail on high-powered attorneys, so many of them. I mean, Rico quit. He's from Uptown.
I mean, from what I hear, from the things that I've heard about Diddy, you know what I'm saying? He's probably a hard person to work with.
No doubt about it.
You know what I mean? So...
No doubt about it, but he's got the money.
But why did they say, why did Rico quit? What was his reasoning for quitting?
There has been no reason given. It's private. He's not going to reveal that.
It could simply be that, Diddy is a hard person to work with.
It could be anything.
I mean, if I was a lawyer, I'm going to go ahead and put this out there. I would represent Diddy just because it's a high-profile case.
Right. So why would he quit? I mean, granted, he's already a high-profile attorney. I mean, he tried the original Twin Towers.
I mean, win or lose is still a good case to take if you want to get publicity.
So then why would he quit?
Because Diddy's a hard person to work with.
But you just got done saying you would do it.
Right. But if he's a hard person to work with and he don't want to listen and he don't want to do what I'm saying, then maybe we'd have to cut ties. But,
I don't know. It's all speculation at this point. We will not know. We are not going to know.
But that's how I feel about the whole case. I feel like the whole case is just speculation at this point.
All right, moving on. Let's move on to Trump. Let's talk about the state of the country.
I'm just saying.
What's going on in the world right now.
That's what I'm saying, man.
We're in exciting times. Whether it's Diddy, whether it's Trump, whether it's Busta Rhymes, whether it's Dr. Dre. Knight says he's gay.
I just heard some shocking news about Dre. I mean,
that's not shocking. Don't tell me you never heard that before.
It's shocking to me because Dr. Dre is like one of the best producers in the world.
100%. No doubt.
He
no
created
doubt about
some of the hardest music that I've ever listened to in my entire life.
Yes.
But
Suge Knight said he spent a lot of time on his stomach. Those were his words, not mine.
Like I said, I don't necessarily respect Suge Knight. You know what I'm saying? But
why? Because he's telling the business?
No, I mean, I don't really respect people that do things like, I mean, look, whatever your reasoning is, fine, you do what you want to do. That's what you got to do. But me personally, I think that, if you trying to sell someone's secrets to advance yourself, which is ridiculous, I mean, that's just something I would never do. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not that type of person. You know what I'm saying? I know things about people, and I've been around certain people. I've seen people do some things that I wouldn't put their business in the street to advance myself. You know what I'm saying? That's just, I'm really like a street dude, and it's like kind of like ethics and like code that you're supposed to go by, and certain things don't add up to some of these guys who claim to be like street dudes.
Right, and I respect it. I respect what you said, and I respect that you do not do that, and I know that about you. I believe that. However,
like Suge Knight, like why is he?
He's in prison.
Like, why is he doing an interview from prison? Nobody even cares about Suge Knight.
They do care. Everybody listens to Suge Knight.
Nobody cares about Suge Knight.
Everybody wants to hear what Suge Knight has to say because they know he's a G and they know he was there and he has firsthand experience. He was an eyewitness to many of these things, and he just has insider information. And he's a no-nonsense person. He's not with the lies and the pretending and the pretense. And that's one thing I like about him.
He was nonsense when the nigga knocked him out on Hollywood Boulevard, and he had to get up. The nigga knocked Suge Knight clean out on Hollywood Boulevard.
Okay, but what's that got to do with the price of tea in China?
Right, he should be.
I mean, who cares?
That's what I'm saying. You know how I look at Suge Knight?
I don't care if Suge Knight got punched. I look at Suge Knight. I don't care.
I look at Suge Knight the same way I look at Orlando Brown and Jaguar Wright.
Oh, please stop. No, you do not.
Suge Knight.
No, you do not.
Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Suge Knight is. Wow, Suge Knight is a hood. Orlando Brown. To me, I look at Suge Knight, Orlando Brown, and Jaguar Wright, the same person. I believe what Suge says just as much as I believe what Orlando Brown says and Jaguar Wright.
Yeah, I mean, I do wonder. I mean, I heard Jaguar's getting her info from the dark web, which anybody could get. But needless to say, she definitely has an insider perspective because she's inevitably seen many things. You know what really, I don't know if you remember this. I let you hear her talking about Diddy getting head in the studio. This was like a few years ago. This is during COVID. And that's what broke her out, but still people didn't know about her. And then, this
is what I want to know. I want to know this. How is Jaguar Wright in these rooms like that? Like, what has she done?
happened to walk in and happened.
But why is Jaguar Wright around? Like, what makes her, what did she do? She did one song with Jay-Z, Song Cry.
She did a
one
lot.
Song.
She did several songs with him, I believe.
One song with Jay-Z, Song Cry. That was all Jaguar Wright had. Why is she this special person that's in the room with all these millionaires and she just did one song with Jay-Z?
No. I do agree with you. Like, why does she have every story? And I mean, you know what it is? She is a compelling person. She is well-spoken. And she's compelling and well-spoken. And that's why people listen to her, because the average person is a follower. So
she's not.
She has a lot of charisma.
She does.
Idiot. She's very well-spoken. Here's what she does. She speaks with the utmost confidence.
I have more reason to believe Orlando Brown than Jaguar Wright.
Oh my!
Because Orlando Brown was actually a star. Jaguar Wright was never a star. Orlando Brown was actually a star.
The problem is now he is on drugs, hard drugs, and
who's
his mind is
Jaguar
gone.
Jaguar Wright's not on drugs?
Well, I'm not saying she couldn't be on drugs, but she's not on what he's on.
How do we know
She's
that?
not on what he's on.
She's on something.
No, I don't believe that.
Jaguar Wright is on something.
I don't believe that.
Jaguar. Look, look, I'm gonna say this.
Wow, Jaguar.
I know
that's so smart. You're so smart.
I know Orlando Brown. I've done a song with Orlando Brown. Right? And I've been around Orlando Brown, and this is before he went off the deep end with the drugs he was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is before that. You know, maybe he might have just been getting ready. Maybe he was even into the drugs. They just didn't really get a hold of him yet. Right? Maybe he was in the beginning stages of doing the drugs. But nevertheless, he was around, and he came and he sung on a song for me, and he was a cool kid. A star. You know what I'm saying? Not a Jaguar Wright. A star. Since a child, a star. On TV, Nickelodeon, That's So Raven.
Was he still a star at that point?
Yes, Orlando Brown was still, he was a child star, so he was, and he was still like known. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
He was still, that's why it's so easy for him to be relevant now, because he is Orlando Brown and he found a niche. So he goes in and he talks sideways and he makes it seem like he's a nut job, and maybe he really is, but whatever he's pulling, it's working, because he's going viral every time he gets in front of a camera.
I do agree with you. They have similar tactics to their storytelling. She'll just throw something wild in there, like in the middle of a sentence or in the middle of a thought or the middle of a story that is just like left field. So they do have a similar style, but I mean,
she'll be like, the kids in Africa, Jay-Z, Beyonce, the elevator, it was going up, not down. Orlando Brown.
But they don't want to talk about that.
But they don't want to talk about that. See, that's what I'm saying. That's the thing
they
about.
They don't want to talk about that.
That's the thing about Jaguar. She's an idiot. I do not like Jaguar Wright.
I know you don't. I love her. I really love her.
I think she's a moron.
I don't think she's a moron at all. I think she's very intelligent.
I have more respect
very
for Orlando
interesting
Brown.
And very charismatic. But my thing is, how does she have all this information? She hasn't been in the industry in at least 10 years, 20 maybe?
She was never even like that, though. She
but
had
listen,
one song with Jay-Z.
For you to get a song with Jay-Z and to be touring around with him, you have been in the industry for quite some time and you've seen a lot of things. And as you and I both know, you see a lot of things, even if you're not in the industry, even if you're in the periphery of it for a long time, like I was, you see a lot of things. You find out a lot of things.
You know who Jaguar Wright was? Jaguar Wright was on Song Cry. And whenever Jay-Z performed Song Cry, she would be with two other girls in the back. She was a background singer.
No, she was not a background.
She was a background singer. I'll pull up the MTV Unplugged joint for you to see right now. Jaguar Wright was a background singer. She was never a star.
Well, I saw background singers in the back, and I saw her in the front with Jay-Z.
She was never a star.
Sitting in her own chair, singing.
She was never a star. She was never a star. She never made it to be a star.
Well, she definitely had star quality.
Who's to say that? Because now she's
incredibly talented. Incredible singer.
I don't know. She sung one song.
Singer.
She sung one song.
Incredible singer.
I thought that, I didn't even know who Jaguar was.
I've heard her sing other things.
Look, first of all, I heard Song Cry. I love that song. It was one of my favorites.
Me too.
I still never knew who Jaguar Wright was. You know who I thought she was? Chrisette Michele. I was like, oh, that's the girl on Jay-Z's song. But it wasn't. Because Jaguar Wright was never famous. So for her to have all this inside information, I seen Diddy getting head at the studio. Why were you even at the studio? First of all,
there could be any number of reasons.
No,
why she was
Jaguar Wright don't want to tell. She don't want to tell everybody what her part was. I believe Jaguar Wright was just as much involved with the freak-offs with Diddy.
No,
I believe she was in. Oh, look, the kid from what's his name from the kid that was in the TV show Empire that they all supposedly passed around.
Yeah, what's his name? Brashear.
Brashear, right?
Yeah.
How she knows so much about Brashear?
This is my thing. She knows all this up-to-date information, stuff that happened yesterday. You know what I'm saying? But she's not in there anymore. And she's like in hiding, supposedly. So, which leads me to believe, is she a plant? Sometimes I think that. And then other times I'm just like, that one guy that used to manage Drake, that left the industry. I mean, he said he believes Jag's getting her info from the dark web, that she told him that or someone told him that.
Yeah,
he knows her. He's friends with her.
This whole situation, with Diddy and it just brings out. I mean, look, we're even talking about it. So it's like it's so heavy that you have to mention it because it's so unbelievable. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. It's fantastical. The stories are fantastical. And what is happening right now, and this is the whole thing, ever since COVID, but especially since, how did this first start with Jag? What was her first? I remember when it really started was that story I told you. But then she went quiet for a while. And then all of a sudden, everything blew up. It must have been with the Diddy case. That's what it was.
And she was like, I told you. Like, she's always talking about she told somebody something already. Jaguar, you ain't tell nobody. Now get out of here, dog. Like, I don't know. I can't get with Jaguar Wright. I'm not feeling her. I'm never gonna be feeling her. She need to go make a song. Make a song and then.
Well, listen, Trump just gave her an award.
I don't even know why. Why did Trump give her an award? I gotta talk to my boy Donald J. Man,
an award for truth or something.
She's a liar.
At Mar-a-Lago. No, it's true. It happened.
No, but Donald Trump gave her a award for truth, and she's a liar. It's ridiculous. They want Jaguar to shut up. That's why they gave her the award. Here's the award. Shut up now. No.
I mean, I just really think that the veil is being lifted on the entertainment business, on Hollywood and the music business. The veil has been lifted and people's eyes have been open, and people, the days of celebrity worship are very much waning. Like, people are seeing the light now. And that could only have been God. Oh, it all started with, what's his name? Cat Williams. With Cat Williams. When was that? The beginning of 24?
Well, Cat Williams.
And then she took it and ran with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I figure everybody got to find their niche. You got to find your thing to try to go viral or whatever. But I like to just stay truthful. You know what I'm saying? I like to stay truthful.
Well, you like to keep secrets though.
I don't,
because from what you're saying is you don't want to tell. You don't want to like tell people's business. But you know what? If they did it, that's on them. You know what I'm saying? Right. Whatever the people are doing, they should have been more secretive about it then.
It's just not my story to tell.
They're not your mother. They're not your brother. They're not your son. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just not my story to tell about anything that I've seen. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but it's also not your job to keep their secrets.
No.
And I believe you do that.
No, I don't keep anyone's secrets. You know what I'm saying? I don't talk about anyone. You know what I mean?
Ever at all. Even if someone brings something up, you won't even support or negate a story, and you will still defend them knowing what you know.
That's not true.
I mean, I guess that's honorable, but at the same time, it's not your job to keep everybody's secrets.
That's not what I do. But I'll say this before we wrap this one up. I'll say this, right? When you listen to this show with Jody P and Bo Skaggs, you're definitely gonna get some truth. You're gonna get some truth. You're going to get some entertainment. You're going to get some truth. You're going to get some very heavy opinions. But it is worth listening to. Now, with that being said, I wish Diddy the best.
I do feel sorry for him sometimes.
I wish Diddy the best.
Sometimes.
This episode is sponsored by Beyonce. No, seriously. No, seriously. No, seriously. I like to stay
neutral.
Not so much neutral, but I like to, you know what I mean? Like
quiet.
I'll put some stuff out there, and let you just, make your own, come to your own conclusion. You know what I'm saying? But I won't I won't tell you what I saw someone doing in the bathroom. Like I won't do that. You know what I'm saying? But, I'll tell you, I'll say like, I walked in the bathroom and this person was in the bathroom and then I walked out. Right. You can form your own conclusion from there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But you will neither confirm nor deny.
I will neither confirm nor deny. Because that's not, but in certain instances, in certain things, you might get a little bit more out of me than normal. But this is just the Bo Skaggs in me. I'm from Queens, New York. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
I mean, it's very stand up.
It's just the Queens in me that you know what I'm saying.
It's very stand up.
Yeah, I mean, we just that's just the type of time that I'm on. You know what I mean?
It's very manly of you.
And I like to keep it that way. You feel me?
All right. Well, I respect it.
And but this is it was always a great time when Jody P's in the building. Good discussions and
good time.
Good. It was always a good time.
I enjoyed myself. Until next time.
I'm Bo Skaggs.
Jody P.
And this is the show. We out of here.
Peace out.